discussing. No, I don't know if it's gonna be quick again, so I'm just gonna get that thought out of my mind for a moment. But I want to discuss the art, I guess, of Japanese design. So the first question that's gonna come up is gonna be, what is Japanese design when you compare it to American design with fighting games? A lot of time it's not very different. But there is a huge factor that comes into play. I wish I'd pick a better character, but this is the only female I know how to play. Probably besides Karen, but I don't have a good skin for Karen. That would demonstrate my point. But no, I guess Fal's pretty been really good actually. But yeah, so what the point is Japanese character design in fighting games is always categorized as one thing, and it's categorized as like oddly sexual design for no fucking reason. And I want to discuss today kind of the thing about that. Now, I'm personally one of those guys that, you know, I'm a dude. I like it. But I also understand at times it's a little weird, and at times just like, why? Why would you do that? One of the biggest reasons I bring it up is because I'm a huge fighting game player, and recently I got into Street Fighter. So I'm watching Street Fighter like compilations of pro players, and something I always come across when I'm watching the comps is the dudes that make the comps are playing on PC, so they're modding the game, and they always make the girls with these very sexual skins. And that's weird to me, because the game is already super sexualized. Every character in this game is sexualized to no end. Like, they're made to be hot, or they're made to be very, like, whatchamacallit, they're made to be very attractive. And most fighting games are like that. This isn't just a Japan thing. This is made to be like an everything thing. A good example would be Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is an American fighter, and it also kind of falls in that thing. Although Mortal Kombat has died down recently with the sexual stuff, because it's been kind of a focus. People have been kind of getting on with that shit. But Japan doesn't follow that rule. You know, they don't follow that rule of thumb. So their character designs are always they're very overly sexual at times. And is that a bad thing? Yes and no. And I'm gonna explain why that's a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because when it comes to character design, your character, people always like the goddamn character. The character can be the worst written character as long as they have a good design. Jesus, I'm messing up combos left and right, but as long as they have a good design, usually it will save them. I'm trying to think of a good couple examples where you'll usually pick a character just because they have tits. And we're looking at Japanese for now. So, characters I can think of. Actually, is there a way to quit this right now? Because I kind of want to quit for now, so I can show off some of my points. But yeah, I'll think of BlazBlue, right? So BlazBlue, at least in fiction, we recently got a character. I say recently as if the game's recent, but we got a character named Nine the Phantom. Nine the Phantom is very sexual. Like, not the most sexualized character. I'd probably say when it comes to BlazBlue, that's probably Makoto. But she's definitely up there when it comes to being sexualized. And the reason why is simply just because it's just a good way to draw you in. As players, when you first jump into a fighting game, it's the best way to draw people in with character design. Like, let me go to this training and then show off the character. So like, let's say this is my first day of playing Street Fighter. Right? I don't know any characters. The only characters I know are the obvious first two, right? The Ryu, Ken, maybe Blanka, Zangief, Chun-Li, you know, maybe those characters, right? So who would I flock to pick? The first thing you flock to is edgy characters. So you'd go to Nash immediately. You'd go probably to Akuma, Kage, you know? But then, you always are going to end up going sexual. So Poison would be a good pick. It doesn't matter what you think of the character once you see her outfit and her body type. Lucia, same thing. I can get just from looking at her, right? If she spawns in, she's police and she's sexual. You got cleavage right there. I'm not even showing the full outfit. She got stockings and shit. No police officer wears that shit on the force. Sorry to splash that cold fucking water on your face, but it's not how it works. Colleen. She's not too, but then I remember if you go into her other skin, and that's another huge thing with Capcom too, because it's Japanese, all their shit, like, let's look at Cammy. Cammy's a really good example of character that's just very sexual for no reason. So you might, even if you don't play Street, you might know who Cammy is, simply because she's one of the main, I think she came out in Street Fighter 2, so she's a very old Street Fighter. She's in that era. Street Fighter 2 I feel like is the most popular era. It's like the one everyone knows of, everyone played. But look at this character. Let's start with this fucking design, right? Body tight ass suit. That's the first part. We're not even getting into everything else about it. We're just gonna start with the fucking first thing. It's body tight. I can see her abs poking through that shit, as well as every defining feature. But then her actual outfit, like, the body tight part only covers, it's like a leotard. It covers literally nothing. Her whole legs are on display. A good chunk of her arms and, like, even below it with armpits like that. But no, seriously, like, it's a lot of parts that are displayed, and you'll probably pick the character just solely on the fact that they're sexualized. Like, look at this. I look at this and I'm like, ooh, hot lady. Let's play her. Oh fuck! I tried to do a combo. Alright, sorry, I was just trying to do some. There we go. Alright, but yeah, I pick her up. And I'm like, oh, this is fun, man. I actually like playing this character. So then you would main her simply because the looks draw you in. And I mentioned the edgy character thing first because Japanese fighters do it very well. I think American fighters don't do it very well with edgy characters because they either make them too edgy, it's like super fucking unlikable, or they make them not enough edgy, so it's just like I have to play your story to find out why you're edgy. But Japanese fighters, they do it perfectly. Like, I can tell by looking at Nash, right? Edgy character. His design's not even too edgy. But you know what makes him edgy? That little hand thing over his face. And his scowl. Those two things just tell you this character's a fucking loner.
I'll show no mercy.
You know? Bison. This is actually not even an edgy character. He's just cool looking. He looks scary. But the girls will always be sexualized. I'm gonna tell you another character. A really good, a good pick, right? So, I'm gonna show you a character that really isn't sexual. It's Karen Konski. Now, Karen, she's a really interesting character. I think she's the best character in the game. But if you just got into this game and you saw her, would you pick her? Besides the fact that you might find her, I don't know, maybe cute. You want to find a fucking Karen cute? There ain't nothing wrong with that, I guess. But besides that, what reason do you have to pick the character when you know nothing of her? Her design shows nothing besides being rich. And maybe you're one of those guys that likes rich characters. But other than that, I don't understand why you would pick her. You know, like, nothing about her design's interesting, at least when it comes to this standpoint, besides being rich. You would have to know about her character. But let's go back, you know, if we look back at Cammy, right? A whole chunk of her body's on display. Like, it's like, there's literally nothing to imagine when it comes to that fucking character. And that's how they draw you in. They draw you in with the looks. Japanese fighters do it very well, I think. When it comes to that. I'm gonna look at one more character as well. I'm gonna pick this. I'm gonna pick Laura. And then I'm gonna pick, who's a good character that we might want to pick? We'll pick Poison. Two other sexualized characters. Now again, it's Japan, so they're obviously they're deviant when it comes to this shit. But I'm gonna just look at these characters, right? They're so sexual for no reason. These characters alone are very weird to just watch on screen. Like, I feel like when it comes to Poison, and if I don't have, this is probably really quiet, my mistake, I just realized my mic was all the way down there, that probably sounded awful, but I realize, like, I'm not playing with the right skin, but Laura has a skin that's very sexual, like, just this cleavage alone is kind of crazy. But it's just weird. Like, let's look at Poison for a moment. Look at this. Bitch got childbirth and hips. The long fucking legs with the stilettos. And her top shows a lot more than you would really think. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna check this thing out. That's bothering me. What is it? Alright. Yeah, but point is that Japan gets you with this. Because otherwise, I don't think I would play these characters. Laura's cool, actually. I do like her little, like, Brazilian jutsu look to her. I think that's actually really cool. At least in this skin, it's cool. But when it comes to Poison, this is such a trashy, skanky look for a character. Like, I feel like if this was given, like, if she didn't have the crazy curve she did, I don't think you would pick her because of the look. Her hair's the only cool part about her, besides her body. I think her hair is the only cool part because it's pink and it's, like, spiky and all. It's actually a really cool look. But than that, what other reason would you pick the character? You know nothing of her. So I'm just testing out little combos. Point is that, like, even if you don't know archetype, right? Or even if you know archetypes, right? What separates you from going like, today I'll pick Zangief versus today I'll pick Laura? You know? Or rather, Laura and Alex, because they're more mobile. They both fit the grappler archetype, right? Both have grabs and stuff like that, and both want to keep you, they want to mix you up with them grabs. But what, if I were to pick this game, I mean, I might actually pick Alex because Alex has a beast-ass design, but let's say Alex looked more like, I don't know, like Ed. Would you really pick Ed over Laura? No, because you see tits, and she looks nice. I haven't even mentioned Mika, I don't think I will. Have you seen this fucking character? Have you seen this character? It's just so goddamn sexual. Like, it's a gift and a curse with Japan, truthfully. And I'm not just mentioning Japan, because I know someone might say, like, oh, what about Mortal Kombat 9? Because it's the one thing we're going to mention. And you can also mention Skullgirls, but we'll get to that later. Mortal Kombat 9 was specifically made to kind of join the Japanese fighter part. And there's a reason MK9 got a lot of fucking backlash because of that shit. You may not know of it, but if you have to crack open your history books, read about it. That shit, that's the reason why characters don't look like that anymore in the games. There's a reason they don't do it. Because it's just weird. A really good example for MK9 was that one skin you got for beating the 300 tower that was like, it was Melina, but she was in her like wraps or shit like that. Like she literally wore nothing. And it's just, it's too much. It's like you're playing a fighting game, looking at a porn simulator, you know? You get my drift? You know, you picking up what I'm putting down? Like, that's the art of Japanese fighters. They use tits and shit to get you to play these archetypes. You know? You play Street Fighter, you'll start with Ryu and Ken. You know, it's the poster children. You know these boys. You know them very well, so these will be the first you pick. You might even go Cammy, Chun-Li. You know, you might go fucking Bison, Zangief. You might pick these characters, definitely Blanca, you know, characters like this that, like, are popular. But when you want to explore, what is the difference between you picking Urien versus you picking Poison? You know, what's the difference between you picking Lucia versus picking Ed? Or Falk versus picking Ed? What's the difference between you picking G versus picking Lucia? You know, what are the difference? It's all up to design, and the tits will grab you before everything else does. I'll be honest with you, Ed's design's fucking lame. Whoever's watching this, that one viewer I had for like 2 minutes, no, they even have for a minute, but Ed's design is lame as fuck. This design looks stupid. I've said it. This design's ugly. I prefer this other fucking gay-ass JoJo skin. And his hoodie, I prefer that more than that. Like, I prefer Falk's fucking elevator attendant more than Ed's. I think it's the curve in his hair. I don't know. Something about that curve looks super weird. But anyway, yeah. That's how the games get you. They get you with either cool, like very cool looking characters, or tits. And there's another thing Japanese fighters do. American fighters don't do this shit. I'm not joking with this shit. American fighters never do this. They don't make joke characters with goofy designs. Like, let's look at MK again, and let's look at Mocap. He's a joke character, but he's not made with a fucking goofy design. Like, he's made just to be, I'm a Mocap fighter. That's it. But let's look at Birdie for a moment. This fat, disgusting piece of shit looks goofy as fuck. And you'll pick him simply because he looks so unbelievably out of place in a game like this. He looks so weird. Everyone else is buff. Everyone else is, like, ripped and toned. Then you got this guy who's super fat and, like, ugly. And it's because that's a goofy design for them. They just find it funny. Honda doesn't really, like, he kind of fits that archetype of being goofy because he's a sumo. Abigail, another character that fits the archetype of being goofy because he's so big and just fucking grotesque at times. But it's different from looking at Abby, looking at Fang, looking at Birdie, looking at Honda, to looking at a character like, you know, Necalli or like Dhalsim or something. Like, these are characters that are meant to be weird as fuck to look at, but they're meant to have cool designs. I dig Dhalsim's design. I love the beard. Same with Necalli. He looks awesome. I love that he's like, yeah, he looks like he's like growling and shit. That's cool as fuck because it fits his thing. If I look at this character, I'm going over him and I see this. First thing I assume is he's an animalistic son of a bitch. Just from his posture, from the way he looks tribal, you know? They demonstrate that with the look. If I'm looking at like Birdie, I don't know this dude's British, that's number one. Number two, I don't know anything of his personality besides that fact that he's fat. That's it, that's the only thing I know. He's fat and he's disgusting. You're supposed to get a lot of a character when you hover over them, you know? I hover over Ken, I instantly realize that this guy's gonna be a cocky fighter, just from his hand positioning. That's telling me he's beckoning them, like, yeah, come over here, let's do this. Ryu, very noble fighter, he's already in his pose before the fight even starts. Chun-Li, she's already in her pose before the fight starts, noble fighter. She's a female Ryu, pretty much. Mika, like, flamboyant fighter, has her finger out, pointing to the crowd, you know? You could already get that she's a wrestler from her outfit. We're mixing outfit and pose here, you know? So Japanese design, the art of it, is that they get you with this. Mortal Kombat, if we were comparing it to that, the designs don't get you, you know? They don't have the tits because they can't showcase it that much. They don't have the cool, edgy designs. Like, how many characters in MK would you really say have cool, like, edgy designs that you really fuck with? Who would you say? Noob's design in this game, I'll be honest with you, I don't like it. I don't like that design. Scorpion's design in this game, I'm alright with it, but it's because I like Scorpion. You know, what other edgy characters you got in MK, right? That are, like, deliberately edgy. You know, it's hard, because most of the characters are made to either be goofy or, like, serious, but not edgy. Like, a good character that I would think is serious but not edgy is Sonya. In this game, in Japanese fighters, they fall down into like 3 different categories, or 4 different categories. They fall into average, which is where I would put characters like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Karen. Like, characters who, they don't have much to show. Their design is very simple, and it's just, they're not going to draw you in too much. Most of the time, they're poster children. They're only going to draw you in usually with, like, as time goes on, or if they're poster children. You have very sexual design, which is like Cammy, Poison Laura, they're meant to draw you in via like tits and ass and leg and all that shit. They're meant to draw you in with a look. They want you to like look at them and be like, ooh, that's a hot girl, I'm gonna pick her. And I'm not discriminating against boys. Let's look at Vega. That's a sexy son of a bitch there. I picked this motherfucker because he looks pretty. You know? Then it goes into the edge category, which follows. It's kind of a mix of edge and cool design. I'm not going to just separate it, like, because half the time it's both. So this is where a lot of characters fall into place. Like, you know, you have Akuma here, like this demon look. You have Alex. He has a cool design. You have Nash, cool design. You have Bison, which is kind of a cool design, but also kind of edgy because he's like the main bad, so he's supposed to be like that. You have Nikali, which is a cool design, but also edgy at times. You got... I actually don't know where I would put him. I feel like he'd be more of the natural, but... You have a lot of characters that are meant to fit that natural, that edgy or cool design. Most of the time, these are characters that just... They're very either like edgy cool. Yeah, they fit on that. They're so far in the spectrum. Like, you can consider Zeku cool, but I would never consider him to be in the edgy spectrum, the edgy cool spectrum like Kage is, or the edgy cool spectrum like, you know, Yuri is. Yuri's design is so weird in this game because it's very different than her Street Fighter 4. Like, it's so different, and that's actually not a bad thing. She looks so different. It draws you in with how cool the look is. It's not a traditional fighter. She looks like a fucking hitman or some shit like that. And then the next design in the final archetype is Goofy. This kind of hits a bunch of characters. Usually it's big characters or like they're specifically like goofy characters. Like there's a like very attribute they focus on heavily. This would hit in this game specifically characters like G. Although G kind of fits in the cool design because he's Abe Lincoln. This would fit characters like Zangief, who's very big and muscly. This is fit characters like Birdie, who's very fat and just nasty. This would fit characters like Fang, who's very thin and very like peculiar. Like you know what I mean. This would fit characters like Abby, Blanca. Like this would fit characters that like they just look weird. Like you look at them and you're like, that just looks weird as fuck, or that looks funny as fuck. You know. And that's for those characters. Japanese fighters do this all the time. And I thought it'd be a really cool way to explore it. The biggest reason I'm exploring, biggest reason I'm talking about fighting games, I have a passion project I'm doing, and I decided very recently I wanted to showcase that. So, if you guys you might be getting a lot more uploads from me recently, you might not, depends on the schedule, but you might get more uploads from me simply because I'm going to start detailing shit about my game. Me and my brother's game. We're working on a fighting game at the moment. And I wanted to mention this because this does come up a lot when me and him are designing characters. This whole design arch. I prefer Japanese design over American design because I feel like American design at times is very bland. Like the biggest reason MK gets you going is because you know the characters, you know. But no character in MK is something that like I look at and I gawk at. Like I'm like, oh my god, this character looks super cool. Because they're all human or they're not human in that regard. And I know that's a stupid fucking thing because it's like, yeah, either you're human or you're not in this world, jackass. But you know what I mean? Like their designs are never too far-fetched. Like it's weird in this game to go from Arab tech Arab dude to like go to fucking green jungle man or something like that. You go from seemingly normal mayor to fucking demon. You go from Hitman to Abraham Lincoln. You know, like I feel like it doesn't, like, MK doesn't do that. Skullgirls kind of did that as well. They fit more the Japanese archetype, which is something I gave Lab Zero props to because I know it's not a Japanese company. But yeah, that was it. I'll see you guys in the next video. I just wanted to real quick with this video. I thought it'd be kind of funny.